Welcome, folks. Another NSDFL podcast here. I come to you above ground for the first time in 3 or 4 podcasts. I got Chris with me here. People have been asking for a podcast, so here we are. Chris, talk to us. What do we got today?
Yeah, number one, I'm a little shocked that you are above ground. It's a little disorienting. I was used to the basement. I don't know what to do now. We're just going to do a quick podcast today. A couple things on the agenda. One, we had some rule changes. First of all, you guys are like the most fickle group of people ever. I mean, you none of you can make up your mind.
Do not lump me in with that. I voted no 2 years ago. Anyway,
fair enough.
Right,
Last year, Ruby's All-Star game was basically unanimously voted on, except for like me and maybe Andy, who voted no. This year, 15-1 against it. They all wanted rid of it. Okay, goodbye, adios. And last year we voted on realigning divisions again, basically unanimously denied, except for me, Jim, Ruby, and Kevin. Everybody else voted against it. This year it's 12-4. I mean, for it. Like, what is going on? I mean, I don't understand this.
I'm trying to think of what could have caused this. I mean, go more in depth in a little bit, but I wonder if the driving force between all the yeses was seeing Jeff in a weak division going 12-1, and I think maybe somebody else wants a slice of that pie too. When maybe in a couple of the other divisions, people struggled a little bit, and they'll say, "Hey, if I was in that division, maybe I make a little bit more noise." So I think the driving force behind this was Jeff going 12-1, and people saying, "Hey, why not me?"
It's possible. I mean, I don't know. Either way, we're going to redraw today. I know you wanted to get something off your chest, though, before we do that. So I'll give you the floor for a couple minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of happy we delayed this podcast a few days rather than doing it the night of the rule changes, because I was pretty hot under the collar those days. But, I asked on GroupMe for Aaron, Tim, and Jeff to explain themselves. All of them, apparently, for whatever reason, took the high road. That is very uncharacteristic of all 3 of them. And my guess is they had no response, really. It's just unexplainable to me. Absolutely unexplainable why Tim, Jeff, and Aaron would want out of this division. I'll start with Jeff. You go 12-1 in the division. You have every right to think you could possibly repeat that, right? No, nothing's changed really. And then you go and pair yourself up with a guy who owns Brady, Le'Veon Bell, and David Johnson. Adam Thielen. Does he have Diggs still or no? No.
Christian McCaffrey.
I mean, the best players in your division the past 3 years have been Leonard Fournette, Kareem Hunt. That's the talent that you're trying to go against. And you opt for this? Guaranteed to play those guys twice a year? Unexplainable. Next, we'll go to Tim. I'll save Tim for the end. Aaron, who is even more mind-boggling here than Jeff. Aaron, again, the best players he'd be competing against, since the players that I said before, Hunt, Fournette, are on his team. The best players he's going against are Martavis Bryant, Josh Gordon.
Marvin Jones.
The quarterbacks he's got to face are Derek Carr. He's got to face receivers like, let's see here, who's on Michael Crabtree, Jordan Howard at the running back spot. Who else on Jeff's team here?
Devin Funchess.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, Melvin Gordon, Randall Cobb. And you give that up. Now you're guaranteed that the best players in your division are Odell Beckham, who's largely considered the best fantasy dynasty guy right now, period. You got Antonio Brown, the wide receiver 1 for the past 14 years. Who else on Jimmy's team? Cam Newton.
Joe Mixon.
Oh, my God. Alshon Jeffrey. Keenan Allen, right? Keenan's still with Jimmy, right?
Yeah.
So you traded in 2 matchups with Tim, who is Corey Davis, Jordan Howard, and Michael Crabtree. Capri Bibbs. Jeff, who's starting, and Andrew Luck if he comes back this year. Carson Wentz, obviously good second option here. Melvin Gordon, Kenyon Drake, Jordan Reed if he's alive, and then myself.
I thought for sure that this was not going to pass. Like I thought that your division and Graham were for sure voting against it. Like they had no reason to vote for it. I mean, unless they really think some of these teams are going to turn around. Which
no. And then on my team, you're looking at maybe facing Derrick Henry, Josh Gordon, Marcus Mariota. I mean, frustrating. And then we get to Tim, which is another thing I wanted to get off my chest here, is one of the driving forces behind this whole rivalry thing was the fakest rivalry in the history of rivalries. This Tiny Tim ABG rivalry is not a rivalry. Why are we making such a big deal of it? Most people are ticked off by it by now. It's annoying. There's not any good jokes being spoken. I mean, it's just – and the competition aspect of it, I asked you a couple weeks ago, and I don't remember off the top of my head, but I think they're both like 5 games below 500 in the 3 years this league has been in existence.
Just about there, yeah.
I guess the only rivalry aspect of it is they have identical records at like – I don't even know off the top of my head. It's like 17 and 28 or something like that, or I don't know, 24 and 28. I don't know how many games we play. I think it's close to like 17 and 21. Anyway, 4 games below 500. They both stink. Maybe ABG gets a little bit better this year. Tim, I don't think gets any better this year. His team is going to take a big step back from last year. He'll admit it to you. But this isn't a rivalry, Chris.
If it's going to be a rivalry, you got to give us something new. I mean, that's the thing. You got to give us some more material. I mean, we have nothing. We have no material. We have just Tiny Tim. We have Tiny Tim, and
I don't need to prove myself to you coming from Tim's corner.
Yes,
that's it.
we need better.
We don't need to make it super personal and go at families, at friends. No, we don't need that. But both their teams stink. There's just.
It leaves a lot to be desired. Before you blow a gasket here, let's just get the division. Let's get it all going here. Let's just get it going. Let's just move on.
Can I talk about Graham for a second?
Okay, all right.
Graham, you're looking to repeat. Graham, you're looking to make it into the playoffs, get a bye, repeat, get the dynasty bonus. Forget about the fact that you made no moves this offseason so far, but then you go and make yourself. Give yourself that much more competition. You've got Andy, who's going to be horrific this year.
Well, before you get going, this doesn't take place until 2019, so he still has the same division.
Correct. Scratch that.
But he did make a move and traded Carlos Hyde. So
if you win if you win your 2 in a row, you can go for 3 in a row and collect the bonus again. There's no reason for Graham to get out of this division. No. Go on with pick the divisions, Chris.
I don't disagree. All right, so we had PricewaterhouseCoopers come in, and they put all the paper into this Fisher Price block puzzle game here. So we got everything. This is on the up and up. I can't see. I'm gonna place it over here. I can't. It's right there. I can't see. All right. There's no funny business. I know Andy likes throwing out accusations. All right. Number one, it wasn't my idea. It was Jim's. Okay. All right.
Shout out to Ziggy for letting us use his toy container.
Yeah, appreciate that, Zach. Thanks for sharing. All right. So without further ado, let's get going. Okay.
What's the process like here, Chris? The first 2 rivalries you pick out will be in the same division.
Yeah. So we'll just go in order. First 2 rivalries will be the North Division. We'll just go down the line. We'll give our.
We're going to get a chance to chat about him after we see him?
Yeah, let's do quick thoughts after each division's paired together.
Okay.
All right. So first, here we go. We got Graham and Mike Murray. Accidents.
Mike Murray's still in the league?
He chimed in with a vote, so yes, for now.
Okay. Thanks, Mike.
He did pay, too, so he's in. All right, so write that down. There we go. Graham and Mike Murray. Graham stays in the North. Mike moves up.
Let me write this down so we don't forget.
Next, I'm shuffling here. We got Tim, ABG. All right. So ABG stays in with Graham. That's and he stays in with Mike Murray. I mean, that's so ABG, Graham and Mike Murray all know each other. So that's kind of good. I mean, we keep that. I think this looks like a cakewalk for Graham again. I mean, there's no karma here. I mean, he should have voted no, and he gets,
He didn't deserve this. He deserved Aaron and Jimmy. He didn't deserve this.
He did not deserve this. Agreed. All
but
right.
I mean, you look at ABG. I think was going to be his main competition in the original divisions, and
Probably still is.
He's going to be his main competition, going forward.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to see what Accidents does. I mean, we know he's not going to do anything, but I mean, he's got Gurley. I'd like to see him do a little something. Maybe make it interesting. But yeah, I mean, this is just penciling at least 10 wins for Graham here.
Yeah, Mike Murray's got those 2 firsts from Jeff for wins, right?
Yeah, but
not great firsts because it was 2018, 2019, right?
But who cares? They're pick 14. It's
right.
Like pick 14, God, and who knows where it is in 19. All right, so next. Ruby and Bogue.
Ruby and Bogue.
Now, before I pick the next group here, is this do you want? I think I want to be part of this.
No offense.
I mean, it's
here, but you gotta like the 2 guaranteed wins for the first.
I mean, yes, you get stuck with arguably the best team, but I mean, you get stuck with inarguably the worst team. So,
inarguably.
Again, no offense, but it's called a spade here.
I honestly, I think if you get me and Andy right now, if me and Andy show up next, Bogue's got to really be loving things going forward.
If you and Andy show up next, I mean, I'll just hand Bogue the money now.
Well, guess what? We'll be picking for new divisions until people are happy. So we'll be putting this up for vote next year.
That's right. We can always delete this podcast. All right, next.
Just kidding, Andy.
Yeah, just kidding. Jim and AC.
Oh, wow.
Okay, all right.
Poor Ruby. I mean, God.
Ruby's dead. I mean, that's now. I mean, the 21st of Ruby's is basically the 101, and you have it.
That's it, Big Daddy. You want to know who I traded? Hold on, Chris. Can I just tell you who I traded for this 2021 1.01?
I'm not sure if you want to hear it.
Kerwin Williams. Do you know who that is? Yeah.
We'll move on. Yeah, I mean, this is probably the group of death here, I would say.
Yes.
Bogue, Jim, and Jim's team is good. He's got picks coming. He's got, he's still on the come, I think. And Aaron's team is young and good still. I mean, he's got to do a little work this offseason, but this is a semi-formidable division here for Bogue. I mean, he's got the cakewalk with Ruby, but other than that, he doesn't. I mean, I think this is a perfectly balanced division.
Yeah, I mean, this is what Bogue gets for voting to get out of the division that he's kind of run through the past couple years. Enjoy that, Bogue. Enjoy Jimmy twice a year. Enjoy Aaron twice a year now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy with this poll. I think it's, look, I'm still in there. You're still in there. I am glad to not be facing, I'm glad to not be facing Jim and Aaron. I think that was the booby prize here. Right. You didn't want those two.
Right.
All right, so let's go next here. Shuffling. Dirty Mike and Tom.
Dirty Mike and Tom. A mix of young and a mix of old here.
Yeah, I mean, this is I think Tom's got some, he's got Saquon Barkley coming. I mean, he's got some stuff to work with. I know he's got a plan. Dirty Mike has just been kind of steady. We'll see where he keeps going. He got cashed in a AJ Green for a bunch of picks. So, we'll see. I don't think this is a cakewalk either.
No,
I don't think it's I think it's just the middle of the road. Yeah.
I was just to say this is of all the pairings, this is the most centralized of all. Most of them are elite versus bottom of the barrel. This is probably your 2 most central teams, maybe 7 and 8 probably going forward.
Yeah, I would agree, especially when we start in 2019. I mean, Tom should have another round of picks coming by then. Yeah, I mean, I look for him to – I don't think he's going to be a factor this year, but by 2019 when we start, I think this is, pretty solid.
So let's see who we pair with.
Let's see what we got here.
If it's me and Aaron, it'll be the weakest division by far, again.
Yeah.
Excuse me, me and Andy.
Kevin and Jeff.
Kevin and Jeff. Wow.
So that leaves, we'll do the formalities, but, we know who that leaves.
Me, you, Muzzy, Andy.
Yeah. So let's just let's get rid of the formalities here. Make sure everybody sees what's going on, Me and Muzzy on the screen. All right. And the last one should be you and Andy if we did this right. Matt, Andy. Okay. So let's go back to Dirty Mike and Tom and Kevin and Jeff's division. I think this is a strong contender for the group of death here. I think it's a slight notch below the other division with Bogue and Jim and Aaron, but it's close. I think it's pretty close because you got four teams that have performed pretty well, outside of Tom, but like we mentioned, he's up and coming.
Right.
The other three have performed well so far, and really, I don't, unless Tom Brady retires or Bell blows out a knee or something, Kevin will be there. Jeff, I don't know, he keeps winning. I'm sure he'll be there. He'll make a move or two, and
I think that stops because he opted to get out of the worst division in the world. Continue, sir.
All right. Well, I won't fight that, but but my point is he'll be competitive.
Correct.
Whereas he'll never out and out tank. He'll be competitive. So, first reaction to our division, I'm loving life right now. This is like the dream, the absolute dream scenario for me.
Correct.
I know obviously like Muzzy's got a rebuild coming, but he's got enough pieces to turn it around quickly if he wants to. It depends how he wants to go. I know you and Andy will pull out all the stops to make moves. So I know I'm not faced with like dead teams that I'm facing, teams who don't do anything. But I'm feeling pretty good about this poll. I'm not going to lie. It'll probably bite me in the ass, but.
Yeah, I got to think that you are the clear winner here in this whole thing. I like Andy going forward after this year when this whole thing starts. I think Muzzy might have a little bit more tougher sledding than you just described. I'm right there now, but with a bunch of pieces that could really flop. So in 3 years from now, we might be looking at Chris and you enjoying 11-1, 12-1. Year in and year out. Big loser here is Ruby. But he was going to be the big loser regardless, I think, with that roster.
Yeah, it would have taken being paired with you and Andy for him really not to be
correct
the loser here.
The only hope Ruby has here is to propose another rule change next year and get out of this system and see if he can get into a division by himself. And Ruby, we love having you in the league, man. So take this lightheartedly, please. But got some work to do, my friend. Got some work.
Yeah, so to recap here, quick winners. Myself, Graham, I think is a big winner. Who else is a big winner? I'm gonna say ABG is a winner here because I think he's clearly the second best team in his division.
Right, which I think was going to happen anyway. I really like Goodell here. Goodell really for I think the next as long as Brady's around, Goodell is the clear lead in that division. I don't think there's any question in that.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like he's been 1.5 players away basically since the start of the league. So we'll see what he does, but. Yeah, I would agree there. Losers, we got Ruby, big loser. I think Bogue is a loser.
Yeah, Bogue definitely a loser here.
I do. I think he got the toughest matchup. Muzzy's, I don't know. You're right in the middle.
Muzzy and Andy were.
Jeff probably a loser. Jeff's a big loser here.
Jeff, and deservedly so. He deserves to be there with guys. I think probably 3 teams that are better than him. So I look forward to 4 and 8 campaigns for him for the near future. I think Andy and Muzzy are 3rd and 4th place in our division as well. So nothing really changed too much for them. Again, that all could change. Andy's got it in flux.
Yeah, I mean we've got the rest of this offseason plus next offseason for teams to change and jockey for position and whatnot. So yeah, I mean we got some interesting things here.
I think the big loser here is maybe a indirect consequence here is trading is going to take a hit. I look at my division now with the two people that I talk to most about fantasy football reside in my division now, with that being you and Andy. Andy, I've made 14 deals with since he's came into the league, and
yeah, that's true.
I'll be the same with you. I look at Aaron and Jim, who I know are tight, talk fantasy quite a bit. Jeff and Kevin, neither of them make a move. Now they're definitely not making any moves.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a little overblown, though. I mean, a mutually beneficial deal is a mutually beneficial deal. I mean, me and Jim made one in the off season, that we both liked, and we still have this year going. That was before the even idea that we were going to realign. Yeah, maybe the gravy train stopped with you crushing Andy in these deals, but we haven't made a deal of consequence since the league started, basically. So right. I don't know. I mean, I think that's a little overblown, but
I look at Tom and Delach. They're the only two that they know in the league. Other than Tom knowing me, and I know Delach as well. Dirty Mike. We're not gonna have to worry about anything with Ruby and Bogue, although they said they've made a deal or two in the past. Put an end to those stupid stipulated deals that the two of them cockamamie.
Thank God.
Whatever. So I don't know. That's the thing that jumps off the page at me. I talk to you and Andy basically every day, looking to make moves, and that's going to be the biggest thing that I'm taking away here.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think. I don't know. I guess I never really bought into the whole division thing. I think of not trading in your division, I think it's, like I said, I think it's overblown. I don't know.
Maybe a little bit. You definitely think twice, I think.
It adds a layer. It adds a layer to your deal where you think about it just a little bit more. Is all. Yeah. So let's go through one. Let's go through one more time here, just for everybody. The North Division is Graham and Accidents and Tim and ABG. The South Division is Ruby and Bogue and Jim and AC. The East Division is Dirty Mike and Tom, and then Kevin and Jeff. And the West Division is me and Muzzy and Matt and Andy. So yeah, I mean that's it. Those are the divisions starting 2019. This year we'll see no changes. Obviously, we have the schedule all set already. I'm just trying to formulate my thoughts here on the fly. If you had to pick, I mean, I know we're a year and a half out, almost 2 years basically.
Yeah.
Before we get going, let's try and pick the order, so we can be wrong and have it on video.
In which they will finish.
In which they'll finish, yeah. So let's start with Graham, Accidents, Tim, and ABG.
Okay. So give me Graham, ABG, Mike, and Tim.
Yeah, I got no complaints with that. I totally agree. I think, man, I looked at Tim's roster the other day because, I mean, you have Andy, I have Tim. Like, I trade with him all the time.
Yeah.
His team stinks. I mean, I'm sorry, Tim. Your team stinks. Like, just blow this up. It is.
I think it looks even worse in the fact that he had to start some scrubs down the stretch. He's got Capri Bibs in there, which absolutely jumps off the
Oh, my God.
Robbie,
good.
He never play a game again.
I mean, the only way his team looks good is if Corey Davis turns out to be the second coming of Odell Beckham. I mean, it's bad. This is a bad team.
Hold on one second. Be right back.
Yeah. I think we're still recording, so I'll still talk. Yeah. So I think we all agree on that order. Graham, ABG's on the come. I think he's going to be better. Mike Murray, like I said, I think he needs to make a couple moves, and we'll see. Hopefully it works out for him. And then, and then we've got Tim, who, like I said, sorry, Tim, I'm not a fan of your roster right now. It's kind of a little, especially you lost Robbie Anderson now. I don't know. We'll see.
So my wife was just repeatedly calling me. I thought there was an emergency. Turns out they're out of spiral hams at Stop and Shop. Does that make her the best wife ever, or somewhere near the bottom?
I would say that qualifies as an emergency, yes.
So I stepped away the spiral ham disaster at Stop and Shop, so my apologies. Moving on, Chris, you got the next division. Pick this one, the tough
next division. We've got Ruby, Bogue, Jim, and AC. I have a feeling we're going to have a little disagreement here. Go ahead.
All right, I got Jim, Aaron, Bogue, Ruby. I think Jim and Aaron a little bit younger. Bogue, this offseason's already looking to blow this team up for whatever reason. You may pick Bogue to finish last due to your hate for Julio Jones. But Jimmy's going to be the class of this division, I think. Bogue, of course, is always going to have the Zeke Elliott. So as long as he stays out of trouble, he's always going to be there. But give me Jim, Aaron, Bogue, Ruby. What do you got?
Wow, I actually thought you would go Bogue first still, just to, out of habit. But yeah, I'm going Jim, Bogue, Aaron, Ruby. So slight difference. I don't think Bogue falls off that much. I know he's talked about blowing it up. He will not blow it up. I guarantee you he will not blow this up. It's not in his blood. He will not blow it up unless he gets something like 27 firsts for Julio Jones.
Right.
Which he will not.
Which he's asking for.
Yeah. So I think Jim's is young enough and makes enough moves that he'll be atop this division in 2019. But I think Bogue is good enough probably to maintain a wild card. Jim, Bogue, AC, Ruby. Look, Ruby, we've talked about him enough. We got to see. He's got to just slow. And this is if he's competing in 2021, I think that's about right, So
there's no way 2020. He doesn't have a 2020 pick.
Okay.
So 2025 is the target date, 2025.
All right, so next we've got Dirty Mike, Tom, Kevin, and Jeff.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll go first on this one. I'm taking I'm going to go off the wall here and take Tom first. Okay. I'm going Tom, Kevin, Jeff, and Dirty Mike. I think Tom has got the pieces to really take off. I think Barkley is as good. It will be as good as advertised. Kevin, I think, hangs on a little bit but starts to falter. Dirty Mike, I could see kind of blowing it up a little bit, which is what I'm banking on with my last place finish for him. And Jeff, I think, just keeps kind of lingering around.
Yeah, that's fair. I was going to say just switch Kevin and Tom. So Kevin, Tom, Jeff, and Delach here. Delach with all those lower picks there that he got for A.J. Green. If he does hit on one, maybe two of them, I don't think it'll be for 2019. Might be looking at a little bit better 2020 or 2021. It's going to be really tough for me to not pick Goodell here. Bell and DJ and Brady, I think, are going to be there for the next 2 years. And as long as those three are there, then it's I think, easy sledding for Kevin. Again, and Jeff's only going to be in the mix there because he's not going to blow it up. He's not going to make – he's just going to be steady Eddie here. And, it was good enough in his prior division. And why he chose to get out of that is beyond anything I could think of. But I don't think it's going to work here. You got Tom, who likes to make moves. Mike, who I think we'll hear a little bit more from going forward. He's trying to turn that team over a little bit, I think. So, again, give me Kevin, Tom, Jeff, and Delach.
Yeah, my pick was a little hot takey, but that's okay. All right, last division we've got myself, you, Muzzy, and Andy. I'm going to pick it in that order. Myself, you, Muzzy, and Andy. I'm banking on Muzzy not 100% blowing up. I'm banking on Andy kind of kicking the can down the road a little bit and aiming for a 2020, we're a 2020 resurgence. My team's hopefully rounds into its own, and I think I got you a close second.
Okay, that's fair. I think I'm a distant second. Again, like I said, volatile guys on my team could be a close second, could be a distant second. And then what'd you say, Muzzy Andy or Andy Muzzy towards that?
Muzzy Andy.
Muzzy Andy. Yeah, that's probably fair, although he's I'll flip-flop that. Give me Andy, then Muzzy. Muzzy doesn't quite really have many pieces, and the pieces he does have aren't young. I think he's got 3 or 4 great quarterbacks, doesn't really want to trade any of them for whatever reason. So I don't know. Andy's got a lot of assets there, and I think the turnaround comes a little bit quicker for Andy than it does for Muzzy.
Certainly could be.
About the same talent level right now.
Yeah, I think that's fair. That could be. Like I said, I'm kind of just banking on Muzzy not completely blowing it up and just kind of sputtering,
Maybe to a 5-8 record or something.
Yeah, something like that. But we'll see. All right, so we're gonna get this posted soon. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, Chris, why don't you give us a 2019 champion?
I'm going to pick myself, obviously. Like, I'm not going to pick against myself. I think, I've been waiting to put it together for 3 years. So,
yeah.
I think this year I cash in on some picks and, we'll get the ball rolling.
I'm going to go ahead and take Jimmy in 2019 if I could. I think he does it from, I think he gets the second position in the playoffs, and it's you or him. I think Jimmy, and you guys have put yourself in great position over the past couple of years having young talent. So give me Jimmy over Chris in the playoffs 2019. Heard it here first. Guarantee lock it up.
All right, lock it up. All right, we'll see you guys.
All right, guys.